and welcome to GC Conversations. I'm Brittany Johnson, and we have a very special guest today, the new chair of the music department, Dr. Sergio Ruiz. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're so glad to have you today, and we'd like to know a little bit about you since you are new to Georgia College and new to Milledgeville, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I love Georgia College. The moment I walked on campus, I was greeted by some students who guided me over to where the food was and didn't just show me. They actually walked me over that block and a half. So I fell in love with the student body immediately, and just being on campus, obviously front campus, is truly extraordinary. I guess my family and I come from California, and we were in Texas for about 20 years. And I studied out in California at Santa Clara University, and then off in Ohio for a bit, and then in Texas. And there's a saying in Texas that you weren't born in Texas, but you got there as fast as you could. And so we were there for almost 20 years. And so now we're in Georgia. And so far, so good. We've received such a wonderful welcome here.
We're definitely very excited to have you here. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the world of music, since you are the chair of our music department.
Oh, sure. Well, a few years ago, or a couple of years ago, I got this Steinway artist designation. Few pianists have it, such as like Horowitz and Rubinstein. The really famous Van Cliburn was a Steinway artist. And when I was about 5 years old, I started piano lessons, just like every other 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid, and I just really took to it. My grandfather was a composer, and so music was in the blood. And my mother taught me, and then several other teachers brought me along the way. And I never thought I would be a musician, actually. I thought I was going to go off to law school and be a lawyer, but I came over to the dark side, and I couldn't be without music. So that's the way it was. Did competitions along the way, traveled and lived in Spain for a short period of time back in 2000, and studied with the equivalent of studying poli-sci with the president, studied with a lady by the name of Alicia de la Rocha, and did research while I was there, and came back, and now I'm here and loving it.
And definitely have to follow your passion. I think that's a good lesson for everyone, that you may think that your life's headed down one path, and then you follow what's at heart.
Exactly.
And you were actually a jack of all trades, might I say. You actually played some baseball in college, right?
Yeah, I played some baseball, I played some soccer, played some football, and just enjoyed my time. I'm not a typical klutzy musician. I like playing racquetball. I like running. I'm getting ready for a marathon out in Warner Robins in January, hoping to get ready. Cross my fingers. And I just absolutely love doing what I do. I love baseball. I love soccer too.
Well, very good. So let's get back a little bit to your position here at Georgia College as the chair of the music department. What exactly do you do in that position? Are you still in the classroom even as the chair?
Yes, I teach the equivalent of 2 classes. And so my role as a chair is to be an advocate for the faculty, and I love our faculty. They're extraordinary musicians and educators, so I'm very fortunate to have such a wonderful faculty. And so what I do basically is be the mediator, or not necessarily mediate, but be the go-between between the administration and the faculty, and really be their advocate, as well as the students. And so I like being a chair, but what I liked about Georgia College is they require the chairs to teach. And so I like keeping in contact with the students as well. I never thought I would be a chair, just like I never thought I'd be a musician, and absolutely love it because I like to help people.
Right, and you touched on this a few minutes ago, but what has been your overall impression in the last couple of months since you've gotten here to Georgia College, of the students, of faculty, and kind of just of the way Georgia College runs?
Well, actually, the students really challenge me. They're really at a very high level, and in the class that I'm teaching, they're very inquisitive, and I'm thrilled to have such an inquisitive student body, and I'm thrilled to have such a fine faculty. What is impressed upon me is the fact that everybody really gets along. The faculty are really, they have a lot of camaraderie between them, among them, and as well as the chairs. The chairs, it's really quite extraordinary how supportive the faculty and the chair, all of us have really gotten along. It's not a normal thing that we have here, so it's kind of the best kept secret in Georgia, or in the nation, more like it. And so I'm really enjoying my time here.
Oh, we all definitely feel that way. You're not alone in that feeling. So is there anything new or any plans that you have for the upcoming year or years, hopefully, that you'll be here at Georgia College as chair? Anything new or goals that you have in mind?
Well, that's a good question. I can tell you what I've done in the past, and maybe we could go from there, but my goals are simply to be an advocate for the faculty and an advocate for the students. What I've done in the past is I like to bring the community and the university together. That's my goal, because I'm a first-generation college student. My parents, they didn't get past the 6th or 7th grade, and so they never quite felt welcome on campus, or they never felt comfortable on campus. And so my goal is exactly that, is to provide an environment that will help everybody feel comfortable and feel welcome. And for me, that's what my goal is for all of us. But in addition to that is to provide a very rigorous education, obviously, and to provide an environment that will help allow all students and professors to be creative and to be their absolute best. That's my goal, is to simply help them do that.
And that sounds like a great plan. You brought up an interesting fact of you being a first-generation college student. I know that there are a lot of students in our student body that are, and some in the community that may be looking, 17, 18-year-olds who are planning, I want to be that first person in my family to go off and go to college and to further my education. What would you say to those people to encourage them, since you were in that place yourself?
I guess Nike, just do it. And I think the faculty and the administration, our faculty, everybody here at Georgia College really wants the success of the students. And so I would just encourage students to just ask questions, to say, how can I do this? Please help me. Because we're all here at the will of the students, because we really want to help them succeed. And I've seen that in every professor here. I have not seen one that isn't caring of the students. And so for me, that's exciting. And so I'll encourage students to simply ask, and we'll help them as best as we can, get them through.
Some great advice there, and we thank you for introducing yourself to us. We look forward to finding out some more about you. We'll be right back with GC Conversations with Dr. Sergio Ruiz.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are the #1 killer of children 1 through 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Welcome back to GC Conversations, where our guest today is Dr. Sergio Ruiz, who is the chair of the music department and new here to Georgia College. And earlier you were explaining to us some of the goals that you have to have more community involvement in the music department, and you guys actually already have a lot of that in place now. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We have a large variety of programming because we want to attract the general public. And so we have concerts for the younger audience, we have concerts for the more artistically minded, we have concerts for wind ensemble, orchestra, jazz, we have the jazz concert on the front lawn, we have a whole variety of things. Our program, we have several students in the music therapy program who go out and do their internships with hospitals and schools, working in their area. We have our own ensembles and our own professors who are, I haven't even barely scratched the surface of how much our faculty is doing in terms of going out and working with high schools and students. In addition to performances, a lot of our faculty will automatically say, well, I'll give a master class, a lesson basically on stage in front of an audience to help educate the general population or educate the students wherever they're performing. So if somebody goes to Chicago or Philadelphia, they'll say, well, there's a venue there, I would love to be able to teach. So our faculty is extremely busy. We have an alumni jazz band that performed, I believe, in May of just this year, and I think they're planning to perform in the coming years. We try to keep those ties open with our alumni, and so we have a Friends of Music that support our program, a scholarship program. Basically, they give funding, or they're investing in our students and in the future of education and music. So we have a lot of different ties with the community.
So across the board, I mean, everything from our current students to faculty to alumni, not only reaching out here on campus, but also into the community. As far as some of these events go, is there a way for people in the community to stay in touch or to know about some of the concerts or availability, things that may be coming up?
Yes, our website, www.gcsu.edu/music. You can go there and you're able to see the entire concert season on our website. You can call our office, and our Friends of Music, because money is becoming more and more important to the college student, we ask that a $25 gift be given to help raise scholarship funds for our students. And so with that, they get 2 tickets and a brochure sent to them in the mail, etc. For us, it's very important to help our students get through, so raising that scholarship money is important. All of our programs there's some sort of entrance admission, and so all of that money goes towards scholarships. So that's a little bit different than what it's been in the past. We've incorporated that into our concert season this year.
And how does that benefit the students? I know obviously, you know, some students may be in need or need, you know, assistance in that sort of way. Is that what the money raised from both the Friends and from the admission goes towards?
Yes, definitely, because everybody knows that there's a serious, I'm going to call it epidemic, of rising tuition rates for students. And so the scholarship money raised for that through Friends of Music and through the admission helps offset the rising cost of tuition. And so it's a very competitive scholarship. Students audition to get into our music program from around the state and the country. And we even have students from the Czech Republic here this year visiting for a semester. So all of those things are benefit from the scholarship funds being raised.
Okay, well, talk to us then a little bit about some of the things our students can get involved in, the different majors or concentrations that may fall into the music department.
Well, of course, we have the music major, and then we have a music minor, we have a creative music minor, creative music media minor, we have music therapy, but more important is our program is open to all students. So we also have a pep band, we have jazz band, and many of the students that come from those ensembles are not majors, which is quite refreshing actually. So if you played a high school band or in a high school orchestra or in a high school choir, we welcome everybody, and we have nearly 100 voice people in choir. Not all of them are majors, not all of them are minors. Some may be science related, or some may be social science related, some may be English majors, but they just love music. And so we gather together during class, and students come and participate. And many of those ensembles will reach out to the public and by doing run-out concerts or tours, so to speak. But it's really more than just touring. It's rather doing lots of recruiting. So they'll go to a high school in Atlanta or a high school in Macon or several high schools. All of our professors do this type of outreach activity to help recruit for Georgia College and get our name out into the region, state, and nationally.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about some of the specific groups that do performances. Tell us how they come together to do those and the practice that goes into it and then the productions that they put on.
Well, I think an ensemble is quite a unique place because you have, in the case of the choir, 100 people, or in the band, 100 people. In the case of the chamber orchestra, 30 people, 20 people. They get together and all of them have one common goal, and that's to better the group. And so it's part of a huge team. And so they get together on a weekly basis, 2, 3, 4 times a week as part of the class setting. And what they do is they rehearse. And so the conductor, really that ensemble is the conductor's instrument, even though they may have 100 different people. They have this wonderful interplay and to create beauty and culture. And so that's what's unique about it. And I think to a certain extent, when they go out to do these tours or these run-out concerts, they're not really just training the musicians. I think they're truly training the students to be better people. And so to a certain extent, it's not only just a recruiting tool, but rather it's a social betterment of the social status, or it's a social program, and it's helping to better the students' lives in a very wonderful interplay between the two groups, or between the two students, or between the two establishments or ensembles. And so to a certain extent, that's why I very highly recommend doing these run-out concerts, these tours to these high schools and or to wherever, to work with those students, because there's a wonderful exchange of culture, because here is very different than Macon, or very different from Atlanta. And so there's that wonderful learning process between or among the different groups. Does that answer your question?
Oh, definitely, definitely. So it's not even just the learning process that the students interacting with the faculty member or students interacting with students and the community. It reaches even further than
exactly. And the faculty member in the ensemble brings their wealth of experience and their wealth of knowledge in their training, and they give that to the students. Obviously, and that's obviously the whole point of a university setting. But in that ensemble, it's really extraordinary to actually observe for a 1-hour period to see how they refine and how they edit, much like you do, or much like the people behind the scenes, behind the camera. They edit and edit and edit, and they really refine the process, or they put it through the fire and perform and perform. Oh, we can do this better, we can do this better, until the point we get to the performance. And it's really quite an extraordinary process. It's hundreds of hours of work behind the scenes to hear the one final product of 1 hour of performance.
Right,
so.
But it is a 1-hour amazing performance,
right,
and all those phases. So we're definitely excited about that. And we'll talk a little bit more about some upcoming performances that you can get involved in. That's coming up next in GC Conversations.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
It's not his new group of friends. It's not the video games. It's not the neighborhood.
Mom, do I have to go to school today?
The biggest threat to your child's future could be you. Every day they miss, even in middle school, puts their graduation at risk.
Welcome back to GC Conversations, and our guest today is the chair of the music department, Dr. Sergio Ruiz, who has told us a little bit about his experience in education and across the board and some of the plans that he has for the music department this year. But now let's focus in on some of the events and activities that are going on. Concerts across the board, essentially almost every week or every couple of weeks for you guys. And you have different genres of concerts. We have some guest artists, and I know one of those is coming up.
Oh yes, actually we've had two artists already. One, the principal trumpet of St. Louis Symphony, Karen Bliznik. She gave a blazing concert on the trumpet a couple of weeks ago, and then last night we had a guitar duo, and so they came here to help. And that was a faculty concert, and they're getting ready for a tour of China. Wow. And so in October we have Ranjani Pravakar, and she's a woman of Indian descent. And she's a very unique musician in that she's helping to raise the awareness on music of southern India, and that's called Carnatic music. And Carnatic music is very interesting because it's the equivalent of Southern Indian equivalent of classical music, our Western classical music, Bach, Beethoven. So she's bringing, even though she was raised in Philadelphia, and the title of her concert is Carnatic Music, a Timeless Tradition. And so it's actually comes from origins of Hindu culture. And so she brings these different types of scales called ragas, and she's going to perform with a group of musicians, and she's going to give a small lecture recital to help the audience better understand what she is singing. And so it's really quite extraordinary to bring that to the forefront of music, because she's mixing it, believe it or not, with hip hop. Wow. and jazz, and so she's fusing these two wonderful traditions in music and helping to bring it to American audiences.
Oh, very good. That sounds interesting and something that folks may want to come out and be a part of. Now, all of these events and concerts are open to the public, right?
Yes, all concerts are open to the public. You can go to our website. You can call our music program at 478-8289 and ask when is the next concert. But everything is listed on the concert. If you get on our Friends of Music list, we'll send you a couple of tickets and a concert program if you want a hard copy of that concert program. We have also faculty events, because we have an guest artist series. We have a faculty artist series where our world-class faculty performed, such as last night. We have a concert coming up from our flute professor, or saxophone professor, or one of our piano professors, and a percussion professor, and it's called Flute DNA. And I actually called her and I said, why are you calling it the Flute DNA? She said, oh, well, because all of the music on the program, and it's better than just calling it a flute concert. Right, so it's marketing ploy, but also all the things on the concert, all of the music being presented has flute involved with it, different aspects of the flute, and explores the variety of ways a flute can be used, with saxophone or with percussion or solo or with piano. So many different, so she calls it the Flute DNA. It's the basics of flute playing. And then we have student performances all of the time. We have our ensembles, we have jazz, we have choral, we have orchestra, we have band. Did I get everything?
I think so.
We have student performances. A lot of the individual student degree performances are free of charge to the public, but everything that's on our website, there is an admission charge to help raise scholarship money. But the student performances, such as Illuminate, is the wind ensemble, and the wind ensemble is really quite extraordinary. And I have a couple of the reason why it was called Illuminate, marketing reasons, but also there's a theme to the concert. One of the pieces that's going to be performed is commissioned work. It was written specifically through a consortium of different bands. They all have contributed to this commission, and is to, I guess, commemorate Dr. James Croft of Florida State University. He was a beacon. The work is entitled Beacon. He was a beacon in the band music world, not just in Florida, but all across the states. And so this work was commissioned in his honor, as well as several other works, Shine by Michael Markowski, Dusk by Stephen Bryant, Golden Light. And so even though that's the entree, so to speak, we have all of these other hors d'oeuvres and desserts works, all with the theme of light. And so it's called Illuminate.
And that's coming up at the end of October, right?
Yeah.
October 25th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And again, all of these events and concerts and activities are open to the public, and you guys welcome everyone to come out and be a part of this, to have that cultural experience and see what the world-class performances that we have
yes,
here.
and everybody knows the holiday concert here on campus. Every December, Russell Auditorium is packed. And then there's the Jazz Fest on the front lawn. The Jazz Fest is on the front lawn. That is one of the few programs that is free of charge, because we want the entire community. We have the high school perform, the middle school perform, our jazz band, a fusion of those types of community, university type events. We want everybody to come. So please, we want everybody to feel welcome. And I really hope that people do come. And if they have any questions, just give me a call, and I'll answer their questions personally. Just ask for me.
Well, we are very glad to have you on campus and here in Milledgeville, and look forward to the great productions and great things coming out of the music department.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dr. Ruiz. We appreciate you coming in today. And that's it for GC Conversations.